Shalom. You tune in live. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Command of General Yohana. You understand? Isupk, priest and captain, not the Nashad. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Do everything in their power to stop this word of the Lord from going forth, man. Stop the word of the Lord from going forth, man. Life is about warfare. All right? We're going to get into it. Give everybody a few moments to get in here. The oppressor is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Bring it here. Okay. So what we got? We going into tonight. Our topics. Marriage. Equality. Marriage. You understand? A duty. Responsibility. We're going to get into it. You understand? The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay, I'm all right. Y'all just let me know if y'all in and y'all could hear me, man. Let me know y'all in. Y'all can hear me. Give everybody a chance to get in here. All right. There we go. That's even better. Even better. All right. Let's in here. Come. Just let me know y'all can hear me. Let me check myself. Damn devil that the Bible speaks of. Got plenty of scriptures. All right, let's get in here. All right, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me and see me clearly. All right, just let me know so I can go ahead and get started. We'll have to speed through it to catch up. All right, most high in Christ, see people coming in. All right. Y'all just let me know if it's getting in. Let me know the chat's coming up, everything clear. All right. We'll get into these scriptures. As a matter of fact, we got a ton of scriptures to go into tonight. We're going to start, you understand, what the Lord said in Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. All right, let's see. All right, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. All right. We'll start at chapter 6 and verse 32. It's a book of wisdom. You understand? The book of wisdom of Sirach, which you might see sometimes in the, if you got a King James 1611. All right. So the Apocrypha says here, Shalom, brother. Yahweh Shabbat. All right, Most High in Christ. I give you a moment. Get your camera straightened up. Shalom, warrior. You understand? All right, Ecclesiasticus. That's the Lord there. All right. Like so much battle and adversity, you understand, to spread this truth, to fight in warfare to serve the Most High. You understand? Life is about absolute warfare, and that's what it takes. You understand? That is exactly what it takes. Hey, shalom, brother. Yahweh Shem Shabbat. All right, brother. Let's see you bring you up there. All right. Come on, Most High Christ. Let's do that. All right. We good to go. All right. So we in Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 32. All right. Just let me know when you got it. All right. The water for you. Let's see. All right. Go ahead, brother.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 32.
Salakia, chapter 6, verse 32.
Salakia, chapter 6, verse 32.
I may have said 2, I'm not sure, but it's 6 and 32. Salakia.
Khan.
All right, brother.
My son, if thy wilt, thou shalt be taught.
Right. He said, my son, if you will be taught. The wisdom and the understanding that the Lord gave the men that wrote this Bible. This comes straight from the Most High. The things and the lessons that the brothers spoke about, wrote about, got instructions from the Most High through the Spirit of the Lord. This is wisdom that is beyond anything you can get in a university, anything that you can get or find in your own private studies. These are the writings that God himself instructed men to say with his spirit, that spirit he used to create and build the entire world, the galaxy, the solar system. That is what we are learning here. And as an Israelite, as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, it is our heritage to learn from the God that created everything. The wisdom and the information that the Lord put in these scriptures makes us the people above all people on the face of the earth. Hey, shalom, brother. Y'all Shem Shebrekah. Shalom, sis. All right, the water, y'all tuning in, man. We had a hell of a battle against Satan to stop this class from going forth. And he's saying, my son, if thou wilt be taught. Remember, every time you hear the words if, and, or but, they are some of the most important words in the scripture. If you will be taught, there's great power that will be given to you. Great knowledge will be given to you, brother. So keep going from there. Hey, shalom, brother. You might get a little light on your face. You're a little dark. Yeah. Go ahead, young man Kenny.
Okay, Khan. And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
He said, if you apply your mind to what I'm teaching you, son, thou will be prudent. The schools that were set up after our nation was broken up because we had disobeyed the Most High for centuries. The schools that were set up in the New Testament were to reinstill this knowledge and the information that the Most High had given to us all throughout the years where we had disregarded it because we had made our wealth, our power, our riches, our fame, our name for ourselves and our reputation as a nation. We had forgotten the Most High. We stopped listening to the prophets. We stopped following his ways, and we decided that we were going to live life our own way, and the Lord took that from us. He took the priesthood from us, the prophets from us, our land, our language, our cattle, the things that we had to make us sustainable. And that's how we find ourselves in slave ships, on reservations, you understand, in the barrios, in the ghetto, running for our lives from the tropics in Central and South America and the Caribbean, like brothers is fleeing from Haiti, like brothers and sisters is fleeing from Venezuela and Cuba. The National Guard just turned away a boat of 200 brothers and sisters of the tribe of Manasseh from the island of Cuba. They are running for their lives because living conditions are so terrible in Cuba. Same way the brothers and sisters in Venezuela, for decades, living conditions have been terrible in Venezuela. Same in El Salvador, all of Central America, parts of Mexico. The same reason that the Ukrainians are fleeing and getting billions of dollars of aid from America, that the Afghans, the Iraqis, everyone is allowed to be a human and America will recognize them, except for these 12 tribes. That is why it is imperative that brothers and sisters come into this school so that we can rebuild our nation, to instill this wisdom back into our people so that the Lord will fight for us and we not be left to the mercy of our oppressors, which is what happened because of our disobedience. See if you can get a little bit more light, brother, because you're still pretty dark. I don't know if maybe you need to turn a certain way, but you're still much in the dark still. All right, go ahead. Keep reading, brother.
Khan, not a one Khan. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding.
Right. You are going to receive understanding if you're here. He's saying that everyone will be able to hear, but there's certain type of hearing. The Bible says, he that have ears to hear, let him hear. Everyone with ears cannot hear, especially hear the way that the Bible is written. The Lord hides his wisdom from the wise and the prudent that believe that they know something apart from being taught the way that the Lord set up. So that's why he's saying, because if you speak loud enough, everybody will hear, but not everyone will understand and receive it a certain way. Hey, shalom, sis. Y'all was small. I thought about shimmy out shot. Keep going, brother.
Khan, out of one Khan. And if thou bow thine ear,
right,
thou shalt be wise.
Damn right. And he said, if. These are all conditional. The most important words you'll read in the entire Bible will always be if, and but. All of these wonderful things is there. He said, if you will incline your ear, if you bow your ear, as an actual act of bowing your ear so that you can hear and receive something that might be different from what you already perceived before. It might be different from what you've heard before. It might be different from what you thought. It might be different. That's why he's saying, if I can teach you something. A lot of times you'll see older brothers, he say, listen, if you close your mouth for a minute, I'll learn you something now. I'm trying to tell you now. You listen for a second, I'll teach you something. Like, that's in the Bible. That's why we got a series called The Bible is Black. It's the blackest things you've experienced your entire life. And of course, when we say black, we're talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We experience these things our entire life, and we don't realize that this is what is written in the Bible. You understand? That's why we made a series on it. Got 31 episodes. All right. So keep going, brother.
Con out of one con. Verse 34. Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Right. In the multitude of the elders. The word elder does not mean what it means in church. Your age does not make you an elder. That doesn't determine if you're an elder, your age, because you're 60, 70, 80 years old. There was a time that your age meant you had wisdom when our entire nation served and obeyed the Most High. Elder is no longer just because you are old, you have wisdom. You understand? In the book of Susanna, chapter 1 and 52, says, our people have waxed old in wickedness. Hey, shalom, brother. Our people have gotten old in decades and decades of wickedness, doing things that the Lord told us not to do, like shaving our heads, shaving our face, celebrating Christmas, voting for our leaders, eating pork, having divorces, adultery, murder, abortion. We've gotten old in wickedness. That's why Christ himself had to raise up new disciples, because John's disciples did not follow him the way they were supposed to. You understand? That's why all throughout the Bible, the Lord had to go get young men like Jeremiah, a young brother, like Gideon or Gadiawan, a young brother. You understand? Like Elisha or Elisha, a young brother. You understand? He had to go and get them because the older generation refused to obey the Lord for so long, he couldn't use them anymore. Christ took cats straight off their job and made them disciples. And they inclined their ear. They didn't understand anything that Christ was teaching them at the time. The whole time Christ was alive and teaching them, they didn't understand nothing he was saying until after he left. Then he sent the Holy Spirit, and brothers got the vibe of the Most High. They started to remember, oh, this is what he said. This is what it meant. This is what it meant. Especially brothers and sisters, you coming into the truth, there's a lot of things that you will hear that you will not understand. But in time, if you incline your ear and continue, just as the disciples did, you will learn a great deal more than everyone else on the face of the earth and be very useful and prudent in the work of the Lord to rebuild this nation. That is what he's telling his son here. And that is what a leader of those schools that Paul set up. That's why he was writing those letters in the New Testament to the schools, which of course is written as church in the New Testament, but it's not a church, it's a school. So keep going.
Con out of one con. And cleave unto him that is wise.
And stay close to him that is wise, the one that is wise with wisdom. That is why in Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 14, which we read very often, he explains the ranking order in the nation. That's the first part of the class, is it going into segue from equality into marriage, like the ranking order of the nation. You cannot have you can't have brotherhood. You can't have a family. You cannot have a marriage. You cannot have peace. You cannot run a city. You cannot have a nation with equality. Equality is a myth. It is a feminine, childish thing to believe in equality. And that is what only our race of people have been taught to believe. That as a people, that's why he's saying, if you incline your ear, my son, I'm going to teach you some things so that you can learn from mistakes that you yourself do not have to make. That's why it's 2 million of our people in prison. That's why our communities are gentrified. That is why the generation that bought houses and build cities and establish places like Jackson Ward, like Baltimore, like Washington, D.C., like Richmond. They established, like Franklin, Virginia. They established black places for black people to build up ourselves. The generation that came after got taught to be like Martin Luther King's mindset, to join our oppressor, to stop thinking as a people, as a nation, to be individual. It's about me, 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 me. I want a career. I want this. I want that. If it means I must hurt you to get it, then I will do it because I'm an individual. You and me are the same. That is wrong. That is why you see so many videos with the police busting brothers and sisters upside of the head, because they take advantage of the fact that we have not been trained on what God says is power and authority. I'm not making an excuse for what the police are saying, but as a people, our nation is out of order. We don't understand authority because we have this myth of equality. Women believe they're equal to men now. Women believe they should tell men what to do. Men believe that they are equal to each other. You understand? There's a whole bunch of confusion. The children believe that they're equal. Just this past week, a 6-year-old baby, this is how bad this problem has gotten. A 6-year-old baby, this is a baby now, shot his teacher in the face. What type of teacher do 6-year-olds have? 6-year-old is what? Kindergarten? Elementary school? First grade? This is a 6-year-old teacher, a baby, a 6-year-old that takes a gun and he shoots his teacher in the face. You understand? Where he learned to do that, why he learned to do that is beyond me. But the entire structure of our nation is so badly out of order that now the babies is catching bodies. The babies is catching, a literal baby. He was in Pampers maybe 2 years ago. Probably still sleep with pull-ups. You understand? Now he out getting stripes. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is something that we must get out of our people so that we can fix our nation. And this is what he was trying to explain to his son, because this is a spirit that a father has to give the family. This is a spirit, this is the opposite of the nature of a woman, the nature of a child. You understand? Children, they don't want to be corrected. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be shown that you cannot do it this way. You cannot act on whatever you feel. Because at this moment, I might feel like killing you. But after I've done that, I won't feel that way anymore. But then I've already now, look how many lives I've ruined. Like, this is what he's trying to teach his son, so much wisdom. And he's saying, if you find a man of understanding, learn from him. There's so much in the Bible that is besides just don't eat pork, don't eat shrimp, don't eat crab, don't be a homosexual, don't have sex with another brother's woman. There are so many lessons and so much wisdom that is contained in the Bible for a man to teach his sons how to rule, how to have authority, how to not just control himself, but to control his home, what he produces, his children, people and things that represent him, his wives, his community, his city. So these things will put the burden of the nation on everyone. So it's not just this what I want to do. If I want to rob, I'm going to rob. Don't nobody tell me what to do. Hey, brother, don't speed through here. They got traffic coming, man. Nigga don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. They're going to give you a ticket. You won't get, I ain't paying no damn ticket. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. Don't nobody control me. Next thing you know, you don't pay the ticket, they issue a fine. You don't pay the time, there's a bench warrant out for your arrest. Now, they can put us in prison. And when you get out of jail, guess what you still got? You got the ticket, you got the court fee, and now you got a fee for being arrested. There's a charge for spending time in jail. You got to pay that money back to the state, the city, or the county. Like, it's so designed, Shalom, Matthew from Norfolk, it's so designed to prey on our people because of the destruction of pulling away the fabric of our families. That's why we starting with equality and we going deeper into marriage, then we going into building our community, building our society, reestablishing the structure, you understand, to get this cancer that Christianity and feminism and democracy has put into our spirits so that we can actually turn back and be a people again. instead of just individuals where everyone is right, no one can ever be corrected. Even if everyone sees the pattern of what's wrong, no one can be corrected. That is a demon. And that demon's job is to destroy y'all people. You understand? And Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah, you brave brothers and you sisters coming up in here to learn the correct way that the Lord said for us to live so that we can fight against these demons that have consumed our people. You understand? All right, so keep going. Go ahead, give me 35.
Khan,
All right.
be willing to hear every godly discourse.
Said, be willing to hear a godly discourse, things that are about the Most High. Discourse is a conversation. Be willing to hear those things. You understand? Keep going.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Don't let things about understanding escape thee. Parables of understanding. You understand? Like the parable of the sower, the fruits of the spirit, the parable of the sower. What is love? Love is to keep the commandments. You understand? What is life? What about reincarnation? You don't just live once and then you die. You live, you die, you're born back again, and then you're going to face the judgment for however you lived that previous life. What you do now matters. Even if you don't face a punishment now, you can die and come back as a baby facing that punishment. That's why Christ asked, one of the disciples asked Christ when he healed the man who was blind from his birth. I think in the book of John, the disciples said, who did sin, this man or his parents? You as a parent can cause the Lord to curse your children. You understand? You, from what we do, can cause the Lord to curse us the next time we come back into the earth. And then those parents have to deal with the curse that the Lord put on that child. You understand? So the Lord wants us to understand wisdom because this is not just for you. It's not just for me. It's for the nation, our future generations and their future generations. You understand? This is so different from everything that we have been taught in all of these religions because this was actually for our race of people. All right? So keep going. I'm going to have you give me just the next two and then I'm going to get another reading. So go ahead, brother.
Khan out of one Khan. Verse 36.
Uh-huh.
And if thou seest a man of understanding,
and if you see a man of understanding, someone who's understanding, that was the criteria that Moses gave. He said, you see a man of understanding, meaning he has understanding. We have tons of men in our nation. Our men don't have understanding. Our people don't have understanding. That's why our families fail. That's why we end up being raised by one parent. That's why we end up in and out of jail, in and out of court, in and out of lockup, in and out of handcuffs. Our communities and our cities fall apart. Like we don't have the proper understanding. The politicians don't have it. Martin Luther King didn't have it. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton don't have it. Creflo and T.D. Jakes don't have it. They just exploit our people. You understand? The officers that the Lord set up, the same thing from Deuteronomy 1 and 10 and 14, that is what is in the Isupk. Wise men of understanding that are studied and proven. No one else is authorized to teach the Bible. None of that means anything. You learn from some church, some mosque, some temple, your mama, some preacher, grandma, the Moors, a fake Israelite group, Egyptology. None of that means anything. When you actually come into the truth, that means you come into the Isupk. It's a term that I hear so very often, and it's a very dangerous term because it confuses our people who are already so very confused, and it leads our people to believe that if you watch a video or hear someone talking about something, that means that you are a part of what is going on. And that is very false. You cannot watch a video of doctors doing surgery for 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, and then also consider yourself a doctor or a surgeon. Would anybody do that? Absolutely not. You cannot watch a video of soldiers doing basic training and their drills and going to the range and see them graduate and say, well, see, I'm a soldier too now. No one would say that that's logical. But when it comes to the truth, because of fake Israelite groups, everyone believes that hearing someone talk about the Bible, saying that Jesus is black, the Jews are black,
that now means this: I have the knowledge of the truth, or I've been in the truth since then. Being in the truth literally is an ISUPK term. It was invented in One West. No one is in the truth outside of this body. They have nothing to teach. They have no one to lead. They have no right, power, or authority. That is why brothers and sisters keep getting killed. They keep going missing. They teaching rape. They robbing brothers of their wives. They stealing from people. All of these things. And before you know it, they don't exist anymore. 15, 20 years of following someone just to find out that he been robbing and pocketing the money, and now everybody is destroyed. The truth started in 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. And it is still, and it is always, and will only be here. You understand? And because our people believe in equality, they think that they can do their own thing their way, and it also be the same thing. That is what Cain believed in the Garden of Eden. And that's why he murdered Abel, because the Lord did not accept him. Equality does not exist. You understand? There's no such thing as equality. All right. So we're going to get some more. All right. It's scared Discord. Go ahead and finish me verse 36.
Con. And get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Let your foot wear out the steps of his door, meaning you are getting to him. He's not coming to you. You are looking for him. You are finding him because he has something you do not have. I had to get to Commanding General Yohana. I had to get to class where General Mahyman was teaching, where General Shawamar was teaching, General Kabbalah Mab, General Katham Gabar, Captain Meshach Mayam, Captain Akkad, Captain Kahan Thamyad, Captain Ashaparium to learn the Hebrew. I had to get to the steps of their door because they were better than me so that I can learn to be better. I was not equal to them. And I believed I was equal to them, then I could not learn from them. They could not be Lord over me to teach me the correct way to go. They could not do that. Because if we are equal, no one has to follow anyone. No one has to obey anyone. No one is accountable when everything goes wrong. That's why this is the perfect segue directly into marriage. You understand? All right. Hey, the water, brother. Let me get another reader. I believe next in, young man Darnell, take me to Hebrews, or everybody go to Hebrews chapter, Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 16. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 16. All right. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16. All right. Young man Edwards, hold me Exodus 22 and 21. Salakia, 21 and 28. Exodus 21 and 28. We're going to have to move a little fast. We got a late start. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, did everything he could to stop this class from coming out. You understand? But the Lord is a man of war. It takes warfare to please the Lord. You understand? Nothing but a battle. That's all. All right. So whenever you're ready, all right, just let me know when you're ready. Let me unmute you. We go ahead. Hey, Tawada, good reading. Good reading, brother. We're going to come back around. All right. You ready? Just make sure. All right, go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16. But to do good and to communicate, forget not.
Right. That's a good thing. Do good and communicate. Forget not. Communication is so very important. A main reason that so much has fallen apart in our community is because slavery stripped our ability to communicate. It stripped our communication with each other. It separated us from each other in such a way that we could not communicate. Okay, no sweat. We could not communicate with each other. We completely, the generation that integrated, the kids that they raised were no longer connected. They weren't connected to the previous generations because life was no longer about us being our race of people and our struggles as a people. It now became about forgetting that so that we can go and join our oppressors. We can join the Arabs and be Muslim. We can join our oppressors and be better Christian, better Democrats, better Republicans. You understand? Which led us right into feminism, drug dealing, prostitution, homosexuality, murder, gang banging, drug dealing, mass incarceration, mass disease. Like there's a direct tie and a link to that. You understand? That's why we're covering that in the scriptures. So keep going. Just make sure you
for which such sacrifices. For with such sacrifices, God is well pleased.
Right. The Lord is pleased in communication. That's why we communicate in here. We communicate. Somebody goes missing from church, they don't go look for you. They don't go look and find out why this kid, like all the rest of the kids, are sitting and playing, and then there's some kid sitting over here. You understand? All the boys is outside playing over here, and then there's some kids skipping, you understand, want to be playing Barbie dolls. You understand? Communication is speaking. Communication is body language. Communication is personal communication. There's so much communication as a nation that we have to learn how to do again. You understand? So keep going.
Obey them that have the rule over you.
Read that again.
Obey them that have the rule over you.
That have the what?
The rule over you.
Why does it say obey them that have the rule over you? Why does it say obey them that have the rule over you? It's a very important thing, and it is a very foreign concept to us as a people. You understand? It's a foreign concept. You understand? For time's sake, we got to keep going because we already at 52. So just keep reading because it's written right here in the scripture. Keep going.
And submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls.
For they do what?
For they watch for your souls.
For they watch for your souls. They have an ability. They watch for your souls. They're watching and seeing things that you may not see. They hear differently from the way that you hear. They see differently from the way that you see. And these things are important to understand. It is a spiritual thing that the Lord has given a man that he has positioned in this nation with authority and power and the spirit of the Most High in Christ. That is what the priests and the officers in the Isupk have. You understand? That is what the Lord has given men who have sworn their lives to take oath to stand for the Most High. That is what the Lord has given. I don't think it'll let them. Okay, Most High in Christ. All right, you in there? You understand? Like as who the Lord has put in charge over the state of Virginia, I can see and hear things that you cannot see and hear. Is a spiritual tool and skill that gets developed from obeying them that have rule over you. It's a spirit. The world runs and functions on spirits. Spirits do not change. The whole Bible is about spirits. It's not about individual things. These things, the world, life repeats in cycles. Every empire operates in cycles. There are no new things under the sun. There are no new people under the sun. Every person, every spirit that has died from the past, you die in cycles of regeneration or reincarnation. Everything comes back again into the earth. That's why in the book of Babylon, they wanted to build a tower to reach unto heaven so that they could fight against the Most High. And that's why now, thousands of years later, in the 60s, they built an international space station so that they can get a tower out into the heavens to fight against the Most High. You understand? That's why Donald Trump built a space military or a space force so that he can be prepared to fight against Christ and the angels. Whoever does not believe me, or if you did not know, there's a branch of the military called the Space Force. It's like Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars. There's a military force for outer space because they are planning on fighting enemies coming from outer space, just like it says in the Bible. All right. So young man Darnell, his connection dropped. All right. So I'm gonna have to get another reader. All right, young man Nate, can you pick up from Shalom, brother? Y'all pick up from Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 17. Just start from the top.
Shalom, Khan.
Brother. Hey, Shalom, Akim. Y'all was Shem Shabbat Thumb. Good to see all of y'all. Most High in Christ, ready to get it on. All right. Just let me know when you're ready, warrior.
Ready.
All right, you got it.
Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves.
You think about how much that you try to teach your children this. The Bible calls us the children of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, because throughout the Bible, a good father has been trying to teach us, look, son, don't do that. Son, listen to me. Listen to me. Don't do that. Stop that. Now, I told you, didn't I? You better stop. Listen to me. You're going to look at you now. Now you jammed up. Look at you now. And I tell you, son, listen to me. Go tell your brother don't do that. Go tell your brother don't play in the street. Tell your brother, get him. Go get your brother. That is what the Lord sent the prophets to do. The Lord said, if you do this, you're going to end up in ships. The Lord said, if you do this, you're going to lose your sons and your daughters. The Lord said, if we do this, you're going to end up with gout. You're going to end up with strokes. You're going to end up with STDs. Your woman is going to whore on you. Daughter going to be sliding down the stripper pole. Don't integrate. Don't join another nation of people. They're going to open businesses in your community, and you and your brothers are going to fight and shoot each other over crumbs while they get rich. Don't do that. The Lord literally was saying that for thousands of years. And here we are thousands of years later in the exact condition that a good father warned us about. And the Lord in his mercy reestablished to put that wisdom that us as an entire people had taken away from us back into men and set up schools. That's exactly what Christ did with his disciples. That is exactly what the Lord sent Commanding General Yohanan to do. And this is the same schools getting the same education that the Lord and the schools were set up in the Bible. Getting it all again so we can get right back to our heritage and start all over. All right? So keep going, brother.
Come.
Please.
For they watch for your souls, as they that must give account.
Right. They must give an account. This is a foreign concept for the leaders that we have amongst our people. Al Sharpton does not have to give an account for anything. He's been allowed to be in charge for decades. Since what, the 60s? How long ago was the 60s? 50 years? 60 years? You understand? He does not have to give an account. He's the reason that there's crack cocaine and heroin in the veins of children to this very day. I understand, brother. No sweat. Black, don't sweat it. If your connection go down, don't sweat it. Just sign in for attendance. You're good to go. All right, we got you down. He is the reason that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans ever got introduced to heroin. Think of all the damage. Some brothers may be older than others. Heroin has been a problem amongst our people. I don't have to tell you. The goddamn 60s, the 70s. Crack cocaine, snorting coke, smoking crack. There's a whole term called crackheads. A whole outcome called crack babies has literally been a part of our people since then. Al Sharpton is the reason. Special Government Agent CI7. Al Sharpton is an FBI agent who worked undercover with the mafia to distribute crack cocaine and heroin throughout the black community. That was his job as a government agent. He does not have to give an account for the lives of the brothers and sisters that died because of what he did for America and how it destroyed our people. He is not required to give an account. He doesn't have to. But yet and still, our people in the world, he is still a black leader. Jesse Jackson is responsible for Planned Parenthood being in the black community. All of the abortions, 25 million abortions since Roe versus Wade. Our sisters, our babies. There's 20 million less black and Hispanics and Native Americans alive in this land because of Reverend Jesse Jackson. He does not have to give an account for those babies that they're dying because he made sure they were there. He's not responsible. He doesn't have to be. That's why they shouldn't be in charge. They're not the men that God put in charge, and that is why we should not be allowed to make our own decision who we will follow, how we're going to live, what we should do, what's popular, what's trending. Being a Black Panther was popular at one point in time. You know what happened after the fall of the Black Panthers? Bloods and Crips, gangster disciples, vice lords. That's what happened. Being a Muslim was super popular at one time. Still is very popular. You know what happened to the black community with the spread of Islam? Rocks, perks, mollies, Xanax, the pack. That's what happened. None of it stopped mass incarceration, murder, drug addiction. There's someone in this body that is watching for your soul. There's no one in the world watching for your soul. Not with the authority and the spirit of the Most High. That is why he's writing this letter to brothers and sisters that are in the truth, that are in the school, not civilians in the world that think like people in the world. I'm grown. Nobody tells me what to do. I'm my own man. I'm my own woman. My body, my choice. My money, my choice. I do whatever the hell I want. That's not what this is for. This is for a man. When I came in, someone better than me to teach me how to live a better way of life than what I had been living. That is what the truth is. You understand? Someone who is very good at thinking, so that I learn how to be very good at thinking, to not make the mistakes that the rest of my people make. That is why he's saying this is a father teaching his sons. You understand? Okay, you back up here. I think you keep dropping off, brother. Don't sweat it. All right. Go ahead and finish this scripture in verse 17.
Okay, come. That they may do it with joy and not with grief.
That they may do it with joy. They're giving an account of what's happening with you with joy and with grief. They're not with grief, because someone is expecting that because you are here, that because you are in Virginia, someone is expecting that you don't just go missing. Unlike the Christian church and in the world, you can't just disappear in here. Someone's going to has to know where you are. You understand? You can't just up and disappear and fall off the face of the earth. Did Satan get you? Did you die? Did you get hit by a car? Are you sitting in prison? Are you in the emergency room? Did someone steal your phone? Did you get tied up and kidnapped? Are you in FBI lockup somewhere? We are going to come looking for you, because we are not a goddamn church. You dying is goddamn acceptable. You just smoking yourself away is unacceptable. You eating yourself to death is unacceptable. You being in the streets is unacceptable. You understand? You can't just die in here. In the world, that's fine. But someone is responsible for you. Think about how much different life would be if there was someone responsible to make sure that no one put a cigarette in your hand. Think of how much of a struggle it was to get off of cigarettes, to get off of weed, to get off of pills, to get off of heroin. Think of how much of a struggle it was. Whose responsibility was it to make sure that no one ever put a bag of weed in your hand, or a cigarette in your hand, or a crack rock in your hand? Who's responsible? Everybody knows it's a problem. Everybody knows that, you understand, teenagers in the groups in the 20s are shooting up the city. Who's responsible to make it stop? Nobody. That's why it doesn't stop. That's why the scriptures say the Lord sought for men to stand in the gap, to make up the hedge, to teach our people what we are doing wrong so that we can fix it. That's what the Isupk does. And that is what was being taught in the schools, because that has always been the important job that no one wants the responsibility to do the way that the Lord said we'll fix it. That's why we in here. That's why y'all in all black. You understand? And the one in charge, they have to give an account for you so that it is not grievous. This brother's not listening. I told this brother to do this. He didn't do it. I told this brother, I said, call at 3 o'clock. Be here at 3 o'clock. The brother did not call. The brother did not show. Has anybody spoken to this brother? Where is this brother? Have you talked to him? Rashad, did you speak to him? La, I didn't speak to him. Yarash, did you hear from him? Have you seen him? Have you spoken to him? Where is this brother? Call the emergency room. I've not heard from this brother in 2 days. Where is he? My son is missing. Call the emergency room. Check the lockups. Call the courthouse. See where this brother is, because he is not just a number in the world. He is a brother. She is a sister, and there must be an account missing. There must be an account for them because we love our brothers and sisters. We love our people. This is what love is, not a song and a dance. It's not sweet words. It's not good music. It isn't a hug. It isn't perfume and lipstick on your collar. Love is a duty and responsibility. It is an oath that is made, which is directly why we are segueing straight into marriage from here. The water, brother. All right. Is that the end on that, or is it more on that scripture?
One last line.
All right, go ahead, finish that last line.
Come. For that is unprofitable for you.
It's unprofitable for you because he is going to chastise you because he's responsible for you. Just like if you don't tell your son, I want you in this house by a certain time because there's trouble out there in those streets. The same trouble that finds all the rest of young black men outside of the house at a certain time. Or young black girls, Hispanic, Native American brothers and sisters after a certain time. I don't want you with that brother. I don't want you hanging around him. I don't want you there because he's watching for you. He's responsible for you. The responsibility must be put back into our people. It must be put back in. It is not America's responsibility to fix our people. America functions because our people are destroyed. That's why they're able to get rich from mass incarcerating us. Get rich when we go to court because we can't put our families together. Our children are running a goddamn muck. They're in jail. That is what makes America. You understand? Us fixing our people destroys our oppressors. It destroys their empire. You understand? So now who I have taken holding Exodus 21 and 28. Salakia. This young man Edwards. 21 and 28. All right, brother. Let me unmute. Let me scroll up to you. Hey, the water. If your live or something drops, don't sweat it. Just come back in. All right. Don't sweat it. Just come back in. If you can't get back in, just put it in the chat. You know, connections fluctuate. You know, they got peak hours of usage. You know, depending on what city, what area you in with the internet connection. So might get jammed up with there. Don't sweat it. But go ahead, young man Edwards, you got it.
Connor Wakan. Exodus chapter 21, verse 28. If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned.
This is an example. This is talking about an ox. An ox is a large farm animal that's used to plow fields. You could see them on cornfields. This is before we had tractors and all kind of things. In countries that are not as technologically advanced, you might see this animal. You might see them a lot. They're an ox. They flatten the land, they plow the land, they cut the corn, harvest the wheat. You put something on their back and you just let them walk. Or you have them walk in circles to grind up your flour, grind up your cornmeal, whatever the case. It's a big beast of burden, a service animal. You understand? Keep going.
And his flesh shall not be eaten.
Right.
But go
ahead, brother.
His flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit.
Right. If the ox gore a man, if the ox gore means to hit with those horns, a man or a woman, and they end up dying, then the ox is going to be stoned. There's a consequence. Somebody dies. That ox doesn't get to live. See, an animal, in an animal's mind, when they kill something, it changes a little bit about them. That's why they say if you got a dog that bit somebody, well, that's what they say now. Dog that bit somebody, mauled someone, they say you have to put that dog down because something triggers inside of that animal that now this is something acceptable that I will do again. You understand? That's why that animal has to be put down. We got rules and laws in the Bible. Some mother, some sister, some brother ends up dying because of this 2,000-pound bull that you got working in this field for whatever the case is. That ox has to be stoned to death, and then the owner is not liable because of this ox. Maybe they working with the ox, whatever the case is. That owner is not to put to blame for what that ox did. That ox suffered, that thing is solved. All right? So give me verse 29.
Connor Wakan. But if the ox were wont to push,
that's an old Quaker English term. Want to push. Want to push. That means he's used. W-O-N-T. That means used. He's used to doing something. This is an ox that is known to plow. He want to push. He put those things around his horns, around his heads or whatever, and he's known to plow, to push, to carry things. That's what it means with want. I had to look it up myself. You understand? So keep going, brother.
But if the ox were wont to push with his horns in time past.
Right. In the past, he used to push with his horns in time past. Right? Keep going.
And it has been testified to his owner.
Right.
And
right. You see that comma? Just pause a little bit there so we can break that down. That's what line upon line, precept upon precept, just so we can break down that little bit of what's being said there. For everyone reading this, you know why I'm stopping the brother. All right. It says, and has been testified. Why is it saying testified? Testified is a legal term. That's why you get those words. You go to court, you hear somebody saying those terms. Testify is a legal term. Why is it saying testify? Because this person is dead. There's a court hearing about this. People don't just die. Oh, you know, niggas die every day, B. No. There's a court hearing about this. This is not going to wait 15 years while you sitting in prison on Rikers Island or in Norfolk County lockup or in Richmond, Henrico County lockup for 2-3 years waiting on your court date. No. This brother or sister is dead. This matter gonna get dealt with. This ain't gonna take, the next 5 years. This gonna get resolved. You understand? That's the importance of having responsibility over things. All right. Now this being testified. You knew this was an ox that worked with his horns. You understand? Keep going.
To his owner, and he have not kept him in.
You didn't keep him in. You knew this was some ox that worked with his horns, and you got your ox just out here free. This is not saying he escaped. This is not saying he just broke free. You don't know what happened. This ox was not properly kept somewhere. He just running loose. And then he just up and just gore somebody to death and they die. Keep going.
But that he have killed a man.
Now someone is dead because of your negligence, because of your ox, because of your property. Someone is dead now. Keep going.
Or a woman.
Or a
the
woman.
Ox, the ox shall be stoned.
The ox is going to die for that. His life is over. Keep going.
And his owner also shall be put to death.
You're going to die behind what your ox did because it was your responsibility to watch over your animals. The Bible said, a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast. Everything under your command is your responsibility. You had better be paying attention. You better know what they're doing. You better make sure that they're secure because this is your responsibility. And this was put so that our society would understand how to be free men. You understand? How to be free people. How to not be under another nation's foot, for them to babysit us, for them to make us responsible, for them to decide to punish us because we cannot rule over ourselves. Remember, we had just spent 400 years in slavery in Egypt. The Egyptians were our police. The Egyptians were our morality. The Egyptians determined how far we could go. The Egyptians determined what was marriage. The Egyptians determined what was lawful and unlawful sex, what was lawful and unlawful food. Our culture was dictated to us by the Egyptians, and the Lord was fighting to get those demons of being Egyptians out of us. And that's what coming into the truth is. You're fighting to get the demons of being a Christian out of you. You understand? That owner dies because the ox is his responsibility and someone else died. The ox dies because he took one of us. And the owner dies because he was negligent with his possessions. Being in charge of something is a great responsibility. That's why we say Khan Adawan Khan. You understand? That's what that means. Someone is Lord because they have to give an account for what you do. They have to give an account to make sure that you're safe, to make sure that they correct you, to make sure that they admonish you when you're doing something correct. that they are watching for your souls. You understand? That is the job of a man of the Lord. No one outside of this body would do that because they know they call the ISUPK for counsel. Even though they rob and scheme and steal and hustle our people and watch our videos. There was a time when there were no officers. There were no captains and generals outside of the ISUPK. And we showed for decades in the Bible that they're supposed to be captains and officers. That's why we have them and fake Israelite groups don't. And eventually they made themselves academy jackets, like Hebrew Academy covers. They claimed themselves captains and officers. You understand? Because we did it because that's what it says to do in the Bible. You understand? So let's get some more. Like, that's just some information about how important it is. With your possessions, you have a responsibility. Take me to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Give me 21 and verse 15. All right. Ate the water warrior, good reading. All right. 21 and 15. Oh, that sounded bad. Keep talking. It went real digital right there.
Sound real digital?
Perfect. You good now. Give me 21.
Kind of kind. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 15. If a man have two wives.
If a man have two wives. Now, of course, this is saying wives plural, because it is lawful for a man to have a wife. In the previous classes, we went over that sex is marriage. You have sex with a woman, does not have a man, you have sex with her, you are married. Whether you are caught, whether you have a ring and a piece of paper, which is not marriage according to us. That is not our culture. That is a Greco-Roman culture. That comes from the Julian marriage laws, because in their Greco-Roman society, the sex that they loved, that was fun, that was a part of their life and their everyday everything. That's why they had those gladiator arenas and gladiator events where they would get two strong, big, muscular men together and they would have them fight naked because they were a very homosexual, you understand? Very homosexual culture. That's why they wore those dresses, those skirts, you understand? That is not our culture. We never wore dresses and skirts. We had what's known as breeches. In the pictures and the depictions that you see about people in the Bible, in most cases, you don't see them wearing the traditional Israelite attire. You might see us on stones somewhere in the hieroglyphs when we were in Egypt, but we had breeches. For those that you don't know, breeches are pants. Men wore pants. We weren't just wearing dresses and skirts like you see the other nations of people did. We always wore pants, you understand, in our clothes. Women can also wear pants. We're not Jehovah's Witnesses. They make pants for women. They make pants for men. They make shirts for women. They make shirts for men. You understand? They make boots for men. They make boots for women. They're not interchangeable. You understand? But women can wear pants, because I've seen a lot of brothers have that question over the years, thanks to fake Israelite groups and the Jehovah's Witnesses. All right? So to clear that up. So if a man has two wives, all right, keep going.
One beloved and another hated.
He loved one beloved, one hated. Got one wife, oh, you love her. She's so kind. She's so sweet. She greets you when she see you. She got your favorite drink ready. She massaging your shoulders. She encouraging you. She's wonderful. She's pleasant. She's everything you would want a wife to be. And then you got another one that does not do what you say. She's not pleasant to be around. You understand? She's not encouraging. She's not someone that you want to come home to after work, which you are not required to come home to your wife every day after work. You are not required to live with your wife every day. You are not required to fulfill every fantasy and desire that your wife has. None of them. That's not what it means to be a husband or a wife. What you are required to do, we're going to get to if there is time. That is not something you are required to do. You understand? If he has two wives, one beloved and one hated, meaning he loves one and one hated. All right? It's like everybody message me now. Let's see. No sweat, warrior. Go ahead. You too are, brother. I got you down for attendance. Don't sweat it. Lord be with you, all right? All right. So if a man has 2 wives, one beloved, one hated, all right? Keep going.
And they have borne him children.
And he has children by both of them. You understand? He got children by both of them. The one he loves and one he hates. That's why when brothers and sisters, you come into the truth, if you are not already married, one of the first things that I tell a brother, that we encourage a brother or sister to do, that's why it's in the announcements, is to not go and marry someone. Learn how to come into the truth. Learn the proper wisdom, what the Lord says a man is supposed to do, what a woman is supposed to do, how to examine a woman. You understand? How to grow and learn before you permanently tie yourself to someone. There's a decision. You can never, ever undo this decision. You can never undo sex. It is permanent. You understand? All right. So it says now, for man, they both have borne him children. He has 2 wives. This whole America has created this dynamic that does not exist in our world. Dating is an American concept. That's not a part of our world. We don't date. Dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, all of these things are Christian, American, westernized creations. Sex is marriage. You're not dating. The dating includes sex. So once you have sex, you're married. It's permanent now. There is no more dating. Doesn't need a ring, doesn't need a paperwork, doesn't need a big party, doesn't need a grand, presentation and a video. Sex is marriage. You understand? This is to reestablish and put order and structure back into our people. You understand? In the world, sex is not marriage to our people. You understand? So he said, if a man have 2 wives, one beloved, one hated, both of them have borne him children. He has children by both of them. Our forefather Jacob had 4 wives. He had children by each of his 4 wives. He had about 14 children in total. You understand? So keep going.
Both the beloved and the hated.
Uh-huh.
And if the firstborn son of hers that was the hated,
If that firstborn son of her, this was your wife, but she had the child. She was the one that had a child first. That firstborn son is very important because the inheritance of when you die goes to that firstborn son. All of your inheritance goes to the firstborn son because the firstborn son is who's supposed to be in charge of all of the wealth and the power that you have amassed when you go. This is why it's so very important that a father instruct his son so that you can be entrusted with continuing what the father did. You got to know how to do these things. There's so many things that we as a people have been separated from power, separated from things that a nation understands, that the very structure of understanding how to manage an estate, how to manage lands, how to deal with livestock and property, how to manage and maintain a marriage of family, wife, children, a nation, a city, community, resources, power, money, finances, agriculture. All of these things are written in the Bible. They're contained within our laws. Most people would not know that. You understand? So he's explaining this because his father has been teaching this to his son. All right, so keep going.
verse 16. Then it shall be, when he hath maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath.
Right, his sons will inherit that which he has. He has inheritance, things that he's gathered to be passed down to his sons. You understand? Who is not getting the inheritance? Let's see who's paying attention to what's being read. Who's not getting the inheritance? Who knows? Who did you not read about in between those 2 scriptures so far? Young man, let me unmute. Young man Nate, go ahead, brother.
The second born.
No, he said when the sons get their inheritance. The second born is mentioned. It doesn't say how many sons there are. It's specifying the firstborn because that's important. You want to give it another shot?
Yeah, would it be the wife?
Say it again.
The wife?
Which wife? He's got 2 wives.
Both of them.
So you're saying neither the wives are mentioned? That's right. The daughter is not mentioned either. Neither the wives are mentioned. Why doesn't it mention the wives of the daughters? Who knows? This is why being in charge is such a great responsibility. And in the Bible, it is very strenuous. Not necessarily strenuous, but to instill a certain responsibility and strength in your sons, and duty and responsibility, because the nation goes how the men go. It looked like everybody froze. Say it again. You had some more, young man Nate? That's right, young man Darnell. The sons. Right? That's correct. Let's keep going for time's sake, because we're about 8:30. So let's just keep reading there. All right.
That he may not take the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated,
Go ahead.
which is indeed the firstborn.
That son, that's the firstborn son, you cannot give him more of the inheritance because you love that wife more than you love his mother. You cannot do that. You cannot defraud this son because you have a better relationship with his mother, which is your wife, than you do the other son. You cannot do that. You understand? That's a law. It's a law there to make sure that you don't do it, because the Lord does not allow you to do it. All right. Of course, now as a people, we don't have much inheritance. We don't have the land and cattle and oxen and hundreds and thousands of acres of land anymore, because we've been in captivity for centuries. You understand? But these laws are important to get the spirit of what the Lord has been trying to teach us for the longest. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Firstborn. All right. Give me verse 17. Keep going.
Verse 17. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn.
He's going to acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn. It's not that child's fault that this mother is hard-headed. She don't listen. She don't cook the steak or the eggs the proper way that you want. She don't wear the proper colors that you like her to wear. You understand? She don't do what you say. It's not that son's fault. Don't take it out. Don't take his inheritance away from him because his mother is hard-headed. That's still your wife. Those are still your children. You understand? That's what it's saying in the Bible. In this evil society, it rewards a wicked woman who will not listen to her husband. And it rewards an evil man who will abandon his wives. You understand? It rewards that. It makes it commonplace. You understand? All right. If you're tired, brother, you might need to get some coffee or something. All right. We want to look alive in here. All right. So let's get that there. All right. So now we got the son here that he have. Keep going. It's going to tell you why.
By giving him a double portion of all that he hath.
Right. But he acknowledged the son of the hated for the firstborn. That son, even though his mother is not the favored wife, but that son gets a double portion of what he has. He doesn't get an equal amount that everybody else get. He gets more because they are not equal to him because he is the firstborn. Keep going.
For he is the beginning of his strength.
The beginning of his strength, the beginning of making a man strong is that firstborn son, because that son does something. That son can reproduce that lineage. Future generations down, a son's children, you will be the child of one of your son's children. You understand? The sons that you have now in previous generations was some male relative that died before. That's how reincarnation works. That's what's actually in the Bible. He is your strength. He's going to build you up. As you get older, as you get weaker, and you're not as strong as you were at 20 and 30 and 40, you will have a young man growing into his strength that's going to take wives, that's going to be strong, that's going to have a full head of hair and a thick afro, you understand? It's going to have young, healthy blood and young, healthy muscles to reproduce your lineage. More sons, more grandsons, more great-grandsons, until eventually one of them will bring you back. That's why it's so important in these scriptures, the instructions that these men were giving to their sons. And even more so, the instructions that the priests and the prophets that the Lord set up in those schools in the New Testament, that they were giving to other brothers whose fathers did not have the wisdom to teach what the good fathers that the Lord put his Holy Spirit on taught their sons to make us a nation. You understand? That's why I keep saying, my son, son of Israel, son of man. This is a father, the records that a father is telling to his son about his children and his family. All right, so keep going.
The right of the firstborn is his.
He has a right of the firstborn is his. Keep going.
Verse 18.
All right.
If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son.
If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, this is not just talking about a bad kid or what would be considered a bad kid or a bad child. Child don't listen. He ain't listening. He running around. You tell him here. You got to teach your kids to be good. Kids by nature are not really good. It's natural. You tell them it's time to go to sleep, they're not going to go. You say, come here and wash your face. The baby is going to fight you to not get the boogers out of their nose. The baby is going to fight you to change them. You understand? That's the nature. You're going to teach. This is something different. You understand? Keep going.
Which will not obey the voice of his father.
He won't listen to his father. It's not talking about a baby. This is a boy. He's growing up. He's coming up. You understand? He's not listening to his father. All right, keep going.
Or the voice of his mother.
He's not listening to his father or his mother. Keep going.
And that when they have chastened him.
When they have corrected him many, many times. He's not listening. You know they correcting him. He's not listening. That's why it's saying he will not obey the voice, the rules, the instructions of his father. Nothing that his mother or his father tells them, he will not do. He won't listen. He won't listen to his mother and he won't listen to his father. Most brothers and sisters and children that are bad, they become adolescents, teenagers, they start acting out, they go through puberty, they get bitter, their body, they get bigger, their bodies start developing, they start having what you call smelling yourself. You understand? Well, those things, that's a very common and very natural thing. That is not what this is talking about. This is talking about beyond that. He won't listen to him. His father and his mother are trying to correct him. He's not listening to anybody. He's not following any rules. You telling him he out. He doing everything you tell him not to do. We're going to read some more. Keep going.
Will not hearken unto them.
He will not listen to his mother or his father. Keep going.
Verse 19. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him.
His father and his mother, they're going to take him. They're going to lay hold on him. You are not just allowed to be out and outright rebellious. You won't listen to your parents. You're getting high. You're doing everything. You're doing whatever it is that is against all of your parents' rules. You understand? It said the mother and the father are going to lay hold on him. Keep going.
And bring him out unto the elders of his city.
The elders of his city. Why are they saying bring him to the elders of his city? Because if you don't deal with him, the city is going to pay for it. If you don't correct this child, the city is going to pay for it. He's going to steal cars from the people in the city. He's going to break into houses of the people in the city. He's going to rob the other kids of the parents in the city. He's going to bust windows out of your house because you're in the city. You're going to be in the stairwell getting high in your apartment building because you can't control them in your house. You understand? You aren't just allowed to do whatever the hell you want, not even as a child. You won't get to be an adult behaving this way in our nation. You understand? You wouldn't make it out of being a teenager. You wouldn't do that. You getting high, you ain't listen to your parents, you bucking up, your mother, your father, they telling you something, daddy checking you, chastising you, all of this. That is the white man's spirit. That demon has been allowed to flourish. Most brothers, most children that's out of pocket like that, they don't have a father in their home. They don't have some male authority. Most of our children are not even familiar with having male authority, period. You go to class, the majority of teachers are women. You go home, everybody's a woman, either with grandma or your mommy or your aunts or all three. But in most cases, the authority to keep the sway in the proper order of the nation so that a man can be lord over who he is responsible for. You understand? Keep going.
And unto the gate of his place.
Uh-huh.
Verse 20. And they shall say unto the elders of his city.
The elders of his city, the mother and the father. This is why it is so important. That team dynamic, this is talking about an actual marriage. That is so important, that the mother and the father be in sync. They got to be together. And this is important things to think about when you are choosing a woman to make a family with. You understand? You might not know this. Most of our people in the world, not any brother in here particularly, most of our people in the world, when they deal with a woman, they are not intending on making a family with her. You understand? Teenagers go out looking for some tail. They're not intending on making a family. But in God's eyes, you had sex with her, you made a family. You started a family. That's why God puts children. Naomi Osaka is learning that very lesson right now. She just withdrew from the Australian Open. You know why? Because sex makes families, and she's pregnant. Congratulations to Levi. Congratulations to the sister and to the brother that knocked her up. But that's God's way of saying, yes, you are a family. This is permanent. You understand? This is wisdom that father is teaching his son. All right? The mother and the father got to be in sync. Most of you trying to discipline your children will be you coming up against that mother. Don't do that. Well, you know he young. Don't do that. Well, you know she young. Just 5, just 6, she just 8, she just young. No, she shouldn't be doing that at all. But you two this, you two that. That coming up against, that's an evil spirit. That's to usurp authority. And America has put that demon in sisters from the Christian church to think that way. This is a very important, very permanent decisions that fathers are supposed to teach to their sons. You understand? Some woman is going to fight you tooth and nail about everything. When it comes time to make difficult decisions, you will have to fight for who's in authority because she believes that she is equal to you. We're not talking about domestic violence. We're not talking about leaving an abusive situation. We're talking about the proper order and authority for how a family that the Lord said is supposed to function. You understand? This is not just for us here. This is for the nation. This child that won't listen to you, won't listen to me. This is something that we are responsible for. And he will be a threat to the nation. At one time, and when Christ's kingdom returns, this is how it will be. Of course, now the whole nation has been this rebellious child, and the Lord threw us away, gave us Christ. Now we have the opportunity to come back. And in the Isupk, we are looking for this badass son. We're looking for him. We out in the street looking for him. We doing camp speakings looking for these bad, hard-headed, rebellious sons, you understand, and daughters, so we can give them the spirit of the Lord so that they can change their lives and not die and come back and serve the Most High and build the nation up again, man. So keep going.
This our son is stubborn and rebellious.
He's stubborn and rebellious. The Bible says rebellion is the sin of witchcraft. All of the words in the Bible mean something. They don't mean the definition of what you see now. They mean something. All right? So keep going.
He will not obey our voice.
He will not obey our voice. That's a very important thing because they have to give an account for that son. He won't obey you in the house. He's not going to obey authority in the street. He's going to go to school and shoot the teacher in the face or shoot somebody else's son in the mall or bring a gun to school or skip school or hook up with the Arabs. When they say, you know, I got this stuff here. If you take some of this, you give it to all your friends, you'll all have a good time. Ain't that how crack started? PCP, Sherm, Love Boat, gas, diesel, sour, LSD, the loud pack, dipping your cigarettes in embalming fluid. That's all it takes. Satan goes about throughout the whole earth as a roaring lion looking for who he can devour. You understand? And the Lord goes throughout the earth looking for who he can show himself strong in. Well, the Lord had a time where he showed himself strong in our entire nation. And that is what we are fighting to rebuild. The spirit of this is to not allow it to happen, and to not be that rebellious son that gives this grief to your parents, to not be that evil wife that is going to be against your husband as he tries to prevent this bad toddler from being a bad 6-year-old to a disobedient and rebellious 8 and 9-year-old to being a juvenile delinquent to being a repeat jailbird to being a life sentence or a lifer. Like, he's trying to prevent these things because he can see what mommy cannot see. But in this spirit, parents is together. This kid is, you understand, can't do that. All right, so keep going.
He is a glutton and a drunkard.
He is a glutton and a drunkard. All right, he's a glutton and a drunkard. Okay, he's gluttonous and he's drunk. All right, a glutton and a drunkard. Why does it say he's a glutton and a drunkard? Glutton is not the same as just eating. You understand? It says, I'm able to come Passover because of my personal situation and excuse. What you would want to do is call the school for whatever city or state that you're in. You'd want to contact that school. Contact that school and speak with them and talk to them directly to see what exactly they're saying. That's what you would want to do. All right? So now he said, the father and mother said, my son is a glutton. You got different types of gluttony. He's rebellious. He's hard-headed. He's doing everything that we tell him not to do. You understand? And he's glutton. Things that he's a glutton. You got a glutton for punishment, glutton for this, glutton for that. Lots of different things. That's why it says a glutton and a drunkard. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 21. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die.
The men of the city are going to put this rebellious son, he is going to die. He's not going to grow up to be a strong, young, healthy, rebellious teenager, strong, young, healthy, troublesome 20. He's not going to get that opportunity. You understand? He's not going to get the option to be a plague on the city. He's not going to get that opportunity. There are consequences to your actions. And that is something that only a father can instill in most cases. It takes the wisdom and the understanding of a father to be able to see those things, to be able to see where this can go if this does not get fixed. You understand? Usually moms will make excuses for that. A father can see that this is going to be a problem and start to address it. That is a responsibility of a father. That is a responsibility of a husband. Is very important. So when we get to, let's see, we got time. We at 43. We might go over a little bit. All right. Let's see. All right. Go ahead and read verse 23.
Verse 23. His body shall not remain all night upon the tree.
Salaki, give me 22. Salaki.
Verse 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death,
what that father did is a sin. Salaki, you didn't finish 21. I stopped you.
I did not.
Salaki, read 21 from the top again. That's my fault. Salaki.
Verse 21. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die.
The men of the city are stoning him with stones because something is being done. They are protecting the city. They don't want the city to fall. They don't want every young rebellious terrorizer to be able to get together and become YSL or become the gangster disciples or become MS-13. They don't want mobs and mobs of ruly rebellious children that will not obey their mother or father, that are blatantly out of control. They don't care about the nation. They hate their mother. They hate their father. And of course, hate is not what you say. Hate is what you do. You understand? You sell drugs out of your mother's house, you hate her. You running hoes in and out of her house, you hate her. You understand? Hate is the action that you take. Just like love is the action that you take. It's not what you feel. It's not hugs and kisses and songs and what you love is an action. Love is to keep the commandments. Hate is to break the commandments. This is a child, a son that hates his parents. This is, of course, it's saying son because everything is done in the masculine, but this is talking about a son or a daughter. You're not allowed to grow up rebellious so that you can just raise up a next generation of rebellious children. You understand? Little Kim started this wave of super hypersexualized diva boss lady, I am woman, see my naked behind on the TV and the internet, show up at the award show with your breasts out. You understand? Aretha Franklin did this a couple of times. This wave encourages. I'm the Marilyn Monroe. I'm the new Lil Kim. Now they're the new Nicki Minaj. Now they're the new Megan Thee Stallion. Before you know it, the land will fall to this evil. That is what the scripture is saying. This. Keep going.
So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
What this son did is evil. And just because you are young, your evil is not going to be excused. Young brothers and sisters get killed all the time because the Lord is fed up with the evil that they are doing. And this is an important thing that only a father can explain to his children. Because as you feel and your emotions and Christianity, women and children, you can't deal with the harsh man-needed things to explain that violating rules has consequences. That's why this father is so important. That's why the husband is so important. You understand? These are the things that you are responsible not only to teach your son, but in order to for you to be able to effectively raise that son, you are going to need to be able to teach this to your woman, because that is going to be the biggest obstacle you will continually face in raising your sons and your daughters. It is your responsibility to make wise decisions on what woman you will be with. It is also your responsibility to be a trustworthy man, a man who's about his word, an honorable and righteous, upstanding man. You understand? To be growing and getting better as a man, to serve the Most High, to turn our nation back to the Lord. Because the majority of our people, they don't have that. That's why everything is out of order. All right? So give me, as a matter of fact, keep going. Keep going.
And all Israel shall hear and fear.
Everyone shall hear and fear. You understand? Children hear Megan Thee Stallion say, my body, my choice. Children hear Oprah say, shout out your abortion. They hear that. They hear the LGBT and the trans talk and all of that. They are not silenced from speaking. You understand? What they don't hear is that the Lord sends evil and curses and punishment if we disobey him. And we can't celebrate Christmas. The Lord get fed up with you celebrating Christmas, he'll take your kids away. The Lord get fed up with you celebrating Halloween and 4th of July, he'll make your kids get shot at a 4th of July party, or a birthday party, or a Christmas party, or Thanksgiving dinner, or New Year's dinner. You understand? The Lord is a man of war, and he's fed up with being disrespected. These are important things to teach so that our people will read the last part of the scripture again.
And all Israel shall hear and fear.
And that's the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You understand? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Okay? That's what the scripture said. So, all right. Hear and fear. Give me verse 22. It's a lot.
Verse 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death.
Right. If a man committed a sin worthy of death, there are some sins that are worthy of death. There's some evil that's not just allowed to just flourish in the community. You're not allowed to just be, every evil is accepted. That's why if you want to do something, you're going to go to, it's a certain lawless area everyone knows to go to. You'll go to the projects. You can't skip school at everybody's house, but there is someone's house where they don't have any rules. They don't have a bedtime. That mother doesn't care who comes over, who spends the night. You can sleep. They don't care if you bring your girlfriends in, however old you are. They don't care if you smell like weed. They don't care if you're young and you smoke cigarettes. There's some place that's the fun place, the unruly place. There's some neighborhoods you go to, they don't have rules there. There's no parents asking you where your parents are. There's nobody wondering why there are all these teenagers sitting in my stairwell getting high. Why they out here fighting each other all hours of the morning and the night. There's no rules here. Everybody knows where that lawless place is, and that's where you go to sell your weed. That's where you go to get that community hooked on drugs. That's where you go where you find victims to sex traffic. That's where you go to sell. If you're prostituting, that's where you're going to go to have a good time. That's where you're going to go. No one is watching. No one's on guard. Everything is acceptable. You understand? Nobody cares there. Jeffrey Dahmer looked for places. He looked for communities. He went to many different black communities, and he looked for places that was all mothers and kids. He didn't want to go to the places where there was men around. It's going to look, why you walking in here with these men every night, all halfway drugged out of their mind? You understand? What is this screaming and saws and drilling I'm hearing coming through my walls? He didn't want to have to deal with that. But he knew what everyone else knew, that by yourself, you were vulnerable as a woman. The neighborhood was vulnerable. The community was vulnerable. The city was vulnerable. The Egyptians knew it. The Romans knew it. And America knows it. You understand? All right. So keep going.
And thou hang him on a tree.
Thou do what?
Hang him on a tree.
You understand? There was some sins that you did. You got hung for that. Nobody was going to allow you to turn the entire west side of Jerusalem into heroin addicts because no one wanted to say anything. No, you are going to be taken and someone was going to put you on a tree. Keep going.
Verse 23. His body shall not remain all night upon the tree.
His body can't stay up there all night. You can't leave him up there all night. But everyone is going to know that you cannot sell drugs here. You can't molest little girls and boys here. You understand? Think of the future generations of young brothers and sisters and the future generations of adults that would be saved. If everyone knew, remember when they hung, what's the name up there? Yeah. They say he was in there. He was getting ready to flood the neighborhood. What happened? The priest caught him. They caught him. They seen him. You understand? And now, unlike now, no one wants to be a drug dealer. Everybody's seen Ray hanging from the tree. Javier hanging from that tree. Everybody saw that. Nobody wants to do what he did. Nobody wants to do what she did. Nobody wants to have sex with another man's woman. Nobody wants to sell drugs. Nobody wants to smoke. Nobody wants to worship another God. Nobody wants to have interracial marriages. We will have what the Lord wanted us to be, which is holy. Be ye therefore holy, for the Lord thy God is holy, and he have severed you from other people, that ye shall be mine. That is what pleases the Most High. And that is the spirit that the Lord wants us to have. Now, we are not telling anybody to go out and put anybody to death. We're not advocating any violence, because as you see in the Isupk, we are not doing that either. Christ said, wait ye upon me. In a righteous kingdom, this is how things will function. No one would ever want to do these things because it is evil. And that is the spirit that brothers and sisters will have. That's what you want. You understand? All right. And that's the spirit. This is the spirit of the Lord. This is what Christ was teaching his disciples. You understand? All right. So let's see. Go ahead, finish verse 23. Take me to
But thou,
verse 3. Salaki, brother. Who we got in here? Young man Edwards. Take me to Titus chapter 2 and verse 3, real quick. Keep reading, Matazah. Keep reading.
oh, Salakia, sir.
Uh-huh.
But thou shalt in any wise bury him that day.
Bury him, man. Take him down, bury him. Bury him that day. You're not going to stay up there and start decomposing up there on that tree. Get him down and bury him, man. Keep going.
For he that is hanged is accursed of the power.
Cursed of the Lord. The Bible says, I make evil and create darkness. I kill and I make alive. I, the Lord, do all of these things. The Lord put men in power and authority to stop the curse from him from spreading to everyone. Lots of time Moses, when he was up with the Most High on the mountain, he had to hurry up and get down and stop the evil that the people were doing before the Lord killed everyone, because you are not going to be punished as an individual. You are going to cause everyone to be punished. If a sister whores on her man, you understand, the evil spirit comes. She leaves one man. Is she going to stay with the second man? No. She's going to stay with another man. And before you know it, dozens of brothers have had sex with this sister. This sister is now spreading diseases all throughout the community. Now she spreads these diseases to these brothers. Some of these brothers now actually fall in love with this woman. Now they beefing and shooting at each other. Except some of these brothers miss. And instead of hitting the brother he was aiming at, he hit some kid, some baby, some little girl, someone's daughter, someone's brother, someone's aunt, someone's mother, someone's grandmother. Now some kid who already didn't have parents, now he has no parents. Now he goes to foster care. Now he goes to the system. You understand? Like it's a domino effect. Like the Lord has always been trying to get us to think as a nation and not as an individual. Not as me, I, personal salvation. I know better. These rules is for us as a people. And this is what the Lord wants to put into us. Slaves cannot think as a people. Slaves can't operate as a people, because as a slave, you are just the property of master. Master says, this is funny, this is funny. Master said, this is right, this is right. Master say, you die and go to heaven. You believe you die and go to heaven. That's why we have to unlearn all of those things that we have learned. All right. So go ahead, give me the scripture you got real quick, brother. Who I had holding that was that young man Edwards. Man, Edwards, you should be up. I think you got it, brother. Go ahead.
Titus chapter 2, verse 3.
All right.
The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness.
Right. The aged woman. Right. You see that comment there? Just pause just for a brief bit. Let me break that down. The aged woman be in a behavior that becometh holiness. Why is it saying that holiness means separate? As a woman, you are not supposed to be available so that everyone can use you. That's a trouble spot. Your woman is not supposed to be available for everyone. You understand? That's how you get ran into the ground. Everybody, well, you know, she available. We get her to do this, get her to do this, do this, do that. No. You shouldn't be available. There's a lot of times good sisters get used trying to help everybody all the time. There needs to be someone there who is not driven by emotion, that can say no when you can't. That's what a man is for. The man excels in saying no. You can't do everything you want. She's not available. You had to find someone else. She's not available. All right. Keep going.
Not false accusers.
Not false accusers, not lying. What is going to make you a false accuser is right here in these scriptures. You understand? It's right here in these scriptures. Damn. Let's see. I want to get some of these. We might go over the time. This is very important to this. All right, y'all, hang in. We might go a little bit over. Give me Ecclesiasticus. Not you. You stay right where you are. Young man Kenny, give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and verse 12. You just hold that, all right? Keep going when you read. Young man Edwards.
Not given too much wine.
Not given to much wine. She can drink. Ain't no sin in drinking. But you cannot be a woman that is always turn up Tina. You can't be a woman drunk out like that. The aged woman is going to teach her, because the aged woman is going to show her what life as a woman is for. There's a purpose. Right now, this society has taught our sisters they can be anything, do anything, wear anything, go anywhere, be anybody. You cannot do that. You understand? You cannot live life that way. The Bible says she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she yet liveth. That's how you go missing. Life can't just be about what pleases you. That's wrong. You understand? It can't be about that way. Not as a woman or as a man. Everything is not a party. You got to be paying attention. She's going to teach a young woman to be sober. Now you growing up, you developing that body, you get them curves, you growing you some breasts. She's going to teach her some rules, get her some structure before she go out there and listen to old simple Megan Thee Stallion trying to have hot girl summer. You understand? end up with a bunch of diseases and a bunch of abortions or a bunch of babies and no fathers. She's teaching an aged woman is putting some sense into this young girl's head. Why? Because she knows she's been around. Because she's teaching her the proper wisdom of how to structure her life so that she can live life and not be for the streets. That's why she's telling her, be sober. Because when you out drunk everywhere, you might end up having sex with people that you wouldn't if you weren't blackout drunk. There's some evil monsters that'll get you drunk and then take advantage of you. Him and all of her friends and his friends. You must know that. The East is an evil place. The first time you learn about evil should not be when you experience it. That's why we don't have children's classes in the ISUPK. We don't have babies classes, children's classes, women's classes, singles classes, marriage. No. The whole nation is facing all of these problems at once. A baby needs to hear this just as much as you do, because they're going to go to school and they're not going to put a filter on anything they tell those kids. And they're going to be at school 10 hours a day. You playing catch up when they get back home to you, if you're not sleep preparing for work the next day or still at work when they get home. You see what I'm saying? This is a war zone. Ain't no sidelines to this. It ain't no sidelines with the LGBT. You understand? The child molester ain't no sidelines with him. The uncle, the preacher, the baseball coach, Jerry Sandusky, R. Kelly, no damn sidelines. Like, this is a battle. You understand? Keep going.
Teachers of good things.
She's going to teach her good things. You got to teach her good things. What are the good things that she's going to teach her? Be sober. You like a drink like I'd like a drink, but don't drink as much. Come here. Stop running your mouth so much. Let me teach you something. Keep going.
Verse 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober.
She's going to teach her to be sober. Teach her to be sober. I know you feeling yourself, you young, this and that, but don't worry. You'll have a son. You'll have a husband soon enough. One day you're going to be a mother. One day you're going to be a wife. And no man is going to want a woman that everyone else has been passing around since she turned 14. You understand? Everybody knows. Everybody's going to know. You understand? Teach her to be sober. She ain't thinking sober right now. She's full of hormones and music and songs and dances and videos. The aged woman is going to teach a young woman to be sober. This is who's going to teach her. Aged women now are not teaching young women to be sober, because the aged women are not with their husband, because they don't have a husband, which is the purpose for why the Lord made a woman. This is why the aged woman is going to teach this young woman. What are the good things the aged woman is going to teach the young woman? Keep going.
To love their husband.
To do what?
To love their husband.
How does she's teaching the young woman to love their husbands? You mean to tell me the instructions that the aged woman is supposed to be teaching her to love their husbands so that she can teach her how to be a wife? Because that's why the Lord made her a woman, to teach her how to be a wife. And in the misconception to our people is that your job, your career, going to school. I went to a few different colleges. The other nations of people are in college and they are married. The Nigerians I went to college with, they were married. The Arabs I went to college with, they were married. The white people I went to college with, they were married. They were married at 20. They were married at 30. They were married in their 40s. You understand? Everyone was married. This whole notion that I can't get married to have a career because I need to go to school and get my career, that is some nonsense that America feeds to black women. That's false. That's absolutely false. Sisters in the ISUPK, married, children, still going to school, getting their degree, becoming nurses, all kind of stuff, passing, taking their tests, and raising amazing, outstanding, and very well-educated children. This notion that you must be bold and fearless and I'm on my own, and that's a game. You understand? The female lioness is looking for a male lion. She can run, she can hunt, she can do everything that she needs, but she is made for that male lion. You understand? That's how life really works. That's why she's teaching the young woman to be sober. Keep going.
To love their children.
To do what?
To love their children.
The aged woman is teaching the young woman to love their children. Guess what the young woman might not have? Guess what she don't have? What is this young woman? When is she going to start teaching her this? When she's 15? When she's 16? When she's 17? After she mastered all the dance moves, when is she going to teach her this? She's going to be teaching her this her entire life. She's going to be teaching her how to be a mother. She's going to be teaching her how to be a wife. Why? Because this is going to frame her mind for the future. Feminism has framed her mind for the future. That's why they just did a city on the most lonely cities in America. The loneliest cities in America. And you know what's filling those lonely cities in America? Single, successful woman with a bunch of degrees and no husbands. The most depressed cities in America? Single, successful sisters with no husbands. You got the job, money, career, all of that. Your way, the child support, your weave, your hair, your nails, your red bottoms, your purses. That is not why the Lord made a woman. That's not why you're a woman. The Lord made a woman. The woman is made for the man. This is why the aged woman is teaching sobriety, teaching her to be sober. That our sisters are not being taught to be sober. You don't get that sobriety until what they say in all of these videos now is repeating what the ISUPK has been saying since the 60s. You hit the wall. You understand? You can't get that tail away no more because they want young things. And you've been handing it out like, you know, basketball cards since you was 15, 16, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 50, and you still don't have a man? Hopefully your daughter didn't learn from you. She went out and got a husband. And here you are by yourself. You can't move your own furniture. Still got to pack up. Still got to do things. You're making your own decisions. And now here you are by yourself, alone and old. Like the Lord did not make life to be this way. That's not how the Lord set that up, man. Like this society has stolen something from you. We're here to give it back to you through the Spirit of the Most High in Christ. And this is why an aged woman is teaching a young woman to think sober. She's thinking for the future generations of our nation. So keep going.
To be discreet.
To be discreet. Don't have all your business out there in the street on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, talking about all of your sexual activities and all of your threesomes and this and how you do this and that with this man and this man and all your relationships. You're not discreet with that. You're not supposed to have relationships. The father, you go from him and he gives you to a husband. And then from there, this aged one has been training you to be a wife and a mother. That doesn't mean you don't go to school. That doesn't mean you can't read, write, speak, and think. That doesn't mean you can't be an accountant. That doesn't mean you're barefoot and pregnant, chained to a kitchen. All of those are white women's things that they use to push the feminist movement. Black women would never live in that life. She was watching and cleaning white women's houses in a house full of their kids to come home to a house full of her own kids with her husband. And we still ended up being smarter and better off than them. That's why they kept burning down our cities. Our family unions is the first line of defense to building our cities, our communities, our neighborhoods, and restructuring our nation. You understand? These are the things to think about when choosing and dealing with a woman. This is a wise thing. This is why he keeps saying, my son, if you bow your ear to me, I'm going to teach you some great wisdom that you cannot pay for. You can't get this wisdom. You'd have to live an entire lifetime. You are supposed to inherit the wisdom of the previous generations. You're not supposed to have to go out and make all of those same mistakes that they did. We are supposed to learn from the failures of our people. We're not supposed to go out and still fail the same goddamn way for 70 years. That is what the Christian church and black leadership has left us. You understand? And thanks be to the Most High in Christ, who commanded Virgnia, holding on to this truth, teaching us the proper way that the Lord said for us to operate. All right? So keep going. Chaste. That means free from sexual immorality. It's not having sex with everybody. You understand? This whole notion that you're supposed to go 30, 40, 50 years with just you on your own. No. The other cultures, most of these people, they get married in their 20s. You understand? Grandma, big mom, and pop, they met at 15, 16. They've been together since before they graduated high school, and they died together. You understand? Like, that was how we operated as a people. America stole that from us by teaching us to be white people, teaching us to be Democrats and Republican and Sex in the City and Baptists and Mormons and Pentecostal, you understand, and Episcopals. That stuff is cancer to us. That's not real. You understand? Keep going.
Keepers at home.
Where?
Keepers at home.
Keepers at home. And not in the street. You keep it at home. So why so many sisters is going missing everywhere? You everywhere but home. You're in Dubai. You're on the boat. You're on the yacht. You're by yourself, all everywhere, all over, everywhere. You shouldn't be everywhere. Why? Because you belong to someone. Someone needs to have accountability for you. Here's a very foreign concept that's very difficult to understand. In Europe and in Africa and in the Middle East, they steal women. It's a very popular thing. Go look up Boko Haram. They steal women. You ever heard of the movie Taken? Anybody ever heard of Taken? They made like 10 different movies of the same damn thing. Europe is famous for stealing women. You understand? It's not safe to just be all over the damn world as a woman. It's not safe to just give your wives and your daughters to everyone. Oh, they're having an event. Let's send all our wives and daughters there. That's not wise. You better find out what's the event, what's it about, who's going to be there, how long is it, and see if this is a wise thing to do, because it is danger everywhere. You understand? This is a husband, this is a man, a father responsibility to see things, not feel things, to see things. All right? Keep going.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Obedient to their own husbands.
Why does she keep stressing husband this, husband that? Love your husband, love your kids, obedient to your husband, because this is why the Lord made a woman. This is why. Here is the concept. The places where you work, that's not your own businesses that you started. Let's say you work retail. You're working in a retail facility because some family started a business. Sam Walmart, which is where you get your Sam's Club, your Walmart, your Ross, your Robux. Some father and his wife and children started a business. And that business was successful, and it grew like Purdue Chicken, Tyson's Farms. They farmed, they raised animals, it got bigger and bigger, and then they opened factories. And those factories employ everyone. They ship the chicken and the food that they raise from their family business to the grocery stores. In the Bible, our families were these businesses. Jacob herded sheep and cattle. Lot and Abraham, Lot ended up living in Sodom and Gomorrah because he and his nephew had too much cattle, because that's how rich our people were. So if you want clothes from the cattle, you want rawhide from the cattle, you want ropes, you want things made from the bones, from the melted down of the hoofs, you want feet, you want meat, you want steak, you want garments, you want carpet, you want jackets, you want jeans. All of these things are being produced from the animals that we raised as a people. We were shepherd kings, sheep herders. Our fields, the agriculture, the land, the grocery store is filled with things from families' businesses. If there weren't mass production in superstores, we would be getting our food, our fruits, our vegetables from family businesses. The jobs, the businesses, and corporations that everyone works at would be brothers with families and their family businesses. You understand? That's why it's got laws about my ox. Because if my ox did this and I didn't take care of it and you ended up losing one of your daughters, my life is over. So that I know not to be negligent, because your daughter's life is on the line. I can't just go and have sex with her and throw her away because your daughter's life is on the line. She can't just learn and do whatever, because how she behaves puts my life on the line. She go hoe on me and get AIDS. I get AIDS too. My life is on the line. She could give the AIDS or the herpes to the kids that we have together. My life is on the line. I got other wives. Their life is on the line because she hoeing. You understand? I could go have sex with some other brother's woman. He get mad, find out he didn't gave this broad everything, put her in a house, gave her kids, helped her get a goddamn GED, listen to all her crying and her problems. Next thing you know, she go horn him and leave him with all the money. He got to pay her for the rest of his life. He might come blow my goddamn brains out. I'm married to your daughter. He might catch me with her coming out the restaurant and kill us both. Now you raising our kids. Like, this is what is really happening to our people. That's why she's saying, teach the young woman to be sober. It is more than just what you want to do and what you feel and what you feel good. We are a people, sister. We are a people, brother. This is a grave responsibility that you are given that will affect us all. That is what she's teaching, because that is what's taught in the school, because that is what the school is teaching you right now, exactly what was taught to them in that day, because we are those exact same people. That is how the Bible works, all right? So keep going.
That the word of God be not blasphemed.
That the word of the Lord don't be blasphemed, man. It's done a certain way. Like, this is to reseal and to reactivate the spirit of who we are supposed to be as a people. We got a lot more. I'm not going to get to it. There's just 2 more verses in here. We're not going to be in here as long as last week. I know we got to wrap it up. We got to counsel after, but I'm going to try to get through what I want in Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and verse 12. I just want a couple of these. Give me Ecclesiastes. As a matter of fact, I'll read it. I'm going to read it because I'm going to break it down and go through it quick so I get everybody out of here at the water. I know we over the time. We got a late start, but I'm going to just go through them and read them. You understand? Like, this is what's important about marriage, because a man is to make sure that this thing flows smoothly. That's why the brothers and sisters come into the truth, so that what the Lord wants our people to know, how the structure and where the Lord wants our people's head to be at, the man that the Lord set up to be over these different schools, to be over these different zones, he's going to put the spirit of the Lord. This is what the Lord wants our people to hear. That's what you're learning. You understand? Not because I said it or I put me in charge, because I didn't put myself in charge, unlike fake Israelite groups. Commanding General Yohana put me in charge, and he did not put himself in charge. Men above him put him in charge, because that's what the Lord said. We didn't appoint ourselves. You understand? All right. So I'm going to read this real quick and go through it to just seal it up. We might get to some more of it next week, but I want to get y'all out of here so we can get started the next thing. So this is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 25 and verse 12. And don't sweat it. If you, some sister, like many of our sisters, were not raised to think this way, were not raised to live this way, you understand, we're repairing our nation, and this is how it goes. Most of our people, all of our people have made terrible and grave mistakes from not being raised the way that the Lord wants us to. That's why when you come into the truth, you get born again. It's not a magical thing. You got to unlearn the things that you were taught the first way that you were born and you were raised, which is in the flesh with your mother and your father for your natural parents. Now you come into the truth, you get supernatural, spiritual parents to teach you how things are supposed to go, the way that we were supposed to be learning the entire time. All right, so hurry up, get y'all out of here. All right, so give me just a few, in about 10 more minutes, we should be out of here. So Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 25 and verse 16. Verse 16, it says, I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon. A lion is a very dangerous animal. Everybody knows what a lion is. A dragon, you got mythological dragons as fire-breathing creatures, which are not real. And then you actually have literal dragons like a Komodo dragon. There are many dragons that weigh 200-300 pounds. Their saliva is venomous or poisonous. You can look that up on your own if you have time. These are very dangerous animals and creatures that will kill you, cause you great bodily harm. You'll lose your life. It said, I would rather dwell with a dragon or a lion than to keep house with a wicked woman. And this is what he was teaching his sons, to watch out for a wicked woman. A wicked woman will destroy everything. It will destroy the good woman. It will destroy good families. It will destroy the children, the cities, the neighborhoods, entire empires. Wars have started over a wicked woman. Gang wars, beef wars, turf wars, neighborhood wars, cartel wars. A wicked woman is a dangerous thing. It's dangerous. She's dangerous to other women. She's dangerous to other men. She's a danger to the community, to the society, to the nation. This is something very important to learn. All right. Okay, let me get through that. It says, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. You brothers and sisters that's new in the truth, you might not be able to see this right now. You might not be able to see it because spiritually your eyesight has not developed, but brothers have been in the truth for some time. He can see that. General Haas just gave a great example of it on the radio show this Monday night. We was talking about he went to some club and he looked at a woman and he saw something that was different from what everyone else saw. And he ran out of there, which was a good thing. You understand? But you more on that later. It says in verse 19, it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. The Lord is saying this because it's very important. We lived in the Garden of Eden with paradise. You didn't have to work. You didn't have to till the land. Everything grew on its own. Rain didn't come from the sky. We lived in absolute paradise. And we lost it because of the wickedness of a woman. This is why the aged woman is teaching the young woman to be sober, because there is great power in being a woman. Extreme power that every nation exploits our women to no end, because it is very powerful to be a woman. It's extremely powerful. And a wicked woman will destroy everything. That is why he's teaching this to his son. That's why we're going over it. A wicked woman will even destroy her own daughters and nieces. You understand? Everyone needs to be aware of her. All right. It said, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, that the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Verse 21 says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman. Don't just look at a woman for how beautiful she is. Don't stumble at that. And desire her not for pleasure. Don't desire her solely just so you can have sex with her for her pleasure. Because a woman is very much more than that. Very important to understand that and not base your dealing with a woman solely on that. Tons of brothers have fallen prey and victim to that. You understand? Not realizing until afterwards that this was a dragon or a scorpion that you have permanently tied yourself to. That is why he's warning his son. A woman is, okay, let me see. Not that one. Let's see. Trying to get to it. Okay. Salaki, I think it's above there. Salaki, my sister moving a little slow. No. Don't exit the page. Okay, I'm going to just read what I can see. 24, it says, of women came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. That's important. You understand? That's in the Bible. The Lord said that. It says, give water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Gad abroad means travel and go everywhere. It says, don't do that. You understand? Why? Because you need to be able to watch the same way you have to watch and be responsible for that ox that can destroy or harm someone. You are now responsible for this wicked woman that is yours. You understand? Now, if she whore and you have sex with another man, then she's no longer your responsibility. But you are responsible for a woman that is yours. You understand? Okay, let's see. A bill of divorce. Let me see. Salakia. I don't stumble not at the beauty of a woman. A woman, if she maintain her husband. I don't see the scripture I was looking for. Okay, we have to get it. We have to get into it next week because we way over the time. All right, but what it says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. I think it's 25 and 26, something around there. It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a helpmeet like unto himself. Like, that's a very serious thing. Like, you are in charge of that possession. You're responsible for her as your possession. You understand? You're responsible for what she does, that she does not destroy herself. You're responsible for how she carries herself. You're responsible for your home, for your family, how she presents it represents you. You're responsible for those things. That's why it's imperative to come into the ISUPK to learn how to teach what the Lord wants her to do so that you also learn how to do it, because most brothers have not been educated on how to raise a woman, on how to raise their wives. You understand? Because it is an actual job. It's not as simple as most people would think, and they don't find out until afterwards. And then they realize that they have not been trained on how to deal with this. All right. So we're gonna pick up where we left off from next week. All right. The water y'all tuning in, we way over the time. All right, those y'all in the camp, y'all know what we're gonna do. One courtesy salute. Admadium. All right, get that over. Everybody up here, we're gonna give one courtesy salute. All right, men of Israel, Barak, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Barakathum. All right, Yahya Matah, Saw means to turn. We'll give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Sisters Ahmadi, which means to stand. We're gonna give one courtesy salute. Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Alathan. Yadi Matah means hands down. Class dismissed. All right. All right. The brothers in the camp, y'all know we're gonna get it started in just a second. All right. With that, shalom. The water.